On this episode of Lapeef, Let's Talk,
we're witnessing right now. What Chaotic was saying was 100% true. But to get back to the point of the woman king, the entire purpose of that title, one, is to emasculate men. That's number one. It's egregious just off of the fact that they're marketing this movie to black people, which is the equivalent of marketing Nazis being heroes to Jewish people. It's ridiculous. The Dahomey, that particular kingdom, which is present day Benin, right, not only engaged in selling slaves, but they own slaves as well. Now, if you look at the Dahomey Amazons, they were only warriors because the Dahomey had sustained so many casualties fighting all these wars with neighboring tribes.
And as a woman, I will nurture that environment, and that would be those things that I would add to it. So my role hasn't necessarily changed, neither has his. It's just a different redefinement of those roles, because there's certain things that I have to contribute for our household to run the way that we want it to.
Mistaken, what are you talking about? I don't know what you.
I know what you're talking about.
Like
I heard everything you said.
I heard everything you said, but mistaken.
Yeah.
Mistaken. Here goes the thing. Okay. And this is no disrespect towards you. You know, I've talked to you before. Mm-hmm. I think you're a wonderful person. I think you're highly intelligent.
You don't gotta say it. Just get to it.
Can he talk?
God made your hands nice and sweet and small and beautiful and tender to make casserole, to tend to your children or your grandchildren. The good Lord didn't make your hands to be in a boardroom and competing with men and saying, honey, I'm going to help pay for the mortgage. Your husband should have done all that. No, and I'm not disrespecting you and your family. You know, I'm not. But you're not supposed to be outside the house. You're supposed to be with your grandchildren, your great-grandchildren. You're supposed to manage your family. That's by God's own ordination. This man-made. Listen, you think men like going to work? You think men like, no, we have to do it. We have to do it. And I'm not disagreeing with you, Mistaken. You could be right and I could be wrong. But the way that I view it as this. You as a man, you got to make enough money where you could just take care of your family. I would never want my wife to be out in the workforce around other men. 200 men in the workforce in a building. 200 men have all types of thoughts, ideas. They can talk to your wife. No man really wants that. No man wants you sitting up somewhere pushing papers and acquiescing to another man. No, you're supposed to serve your beautiful children.
I have, and that's what I'm trying to say. My hands are built for those things, and I do those things as well. I do it. I do it well. That's what multitasking is.
Okay, but you shouldn't have to multitask.
Raise your hand.
The only task you should be doing is putting the dirty plates in the dishwasher. That's and I know it may sound like I'm trolling, and I'm not, but it's beauty in that.
No, I believe that you believe it.
It's beauty in you wearing a smock. Go ahead.
Well, that's one of the things that you said you believe. Yes. So it's okay, and I can respect that. But what my belief is in our household, and what works for our household works for our household. Yeah. So your opinion is respectfully your opinion.
Yes.
It wouldn't impact my household. And it appears that what we do in our household works because we're 19 years in. We're not 19 years in being married. We're 19 years in being happily married. And there's a difference. And so as those roles have redefined and readjusted, as our needs have changed and our wants have changed, and I think that's what happens when you are in relation with other people.
Is we still talk about the
And,
woman?
I'll say mistaken though. You said you're
Wait,
an
Angryman
educator.
has me waiting. Let Angryman go. You don't have to raise your hand,
So,
Angryman.
That's all I was saying. You being an educator is a very important role in our community. So I appreciate your job in educating our youth.
Thank you, Kayla.
Oh, okay. First of all, when women start talking about everything that you can do and all your empowerment, it only exists in a society that men have facilitated you to be able to do all of that. Okay, if men do not structure the society for you to trumpet everything you can do, you can't do it. It doesn't exist. So what Chaotic was saying was 100% true, even if you find it offensive the way he said it, it's 100% true. We're not redefining any roles, okay? Societies go through cycles. We're on the decline in this.
I'm sorry. I gotta go. I got a curfew at 11. So we're at 11:01.
I hear that.
Thank you guys for having me. Next week, I'm off. We have fall break. So, if you would have me back, I'll be willing to come back. Thank you.
It was good seeing you.
As you're mistaken. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr.
Here's the thing.
Go ahead, Angryman.
Here's the thing. There's always this conversation that comes up to try to diminish what men have created or to try to diminish the way things are, okay? The way things have always been. There's an old saying, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. We're not redefining anything. What we're doing is we're trying to give a new definition to things that have already existed. Every society, every civilization has a cycle. We're just going through our cycle, but we're on the decline. And part of the reason we're on the decline is because of a lot of that shit she just got through saying. Okay? Societies always go through this type of cycle. All right? So whenever men allow women to get to the point to where they're running around saying, oh, it should be this way and it should be that way, that's when we start seeing everything decline. Okay? Like we're watching right now. We're witnessing right now. What Chaotic was saying was 100% true, but to get back to the point of the woman king, the entire purpose of that title, one, is to emasculate men. That's number one. And it's egregious just off of the fact that they're marketing this movie to Black people, which is the equivalent of marketing Nazis being heroes to Jewish people. It's ridiculous. The Dahomey, that particular kingdom, which is present day Benin, right, not only engaged in selling slaves, but they own slaves as well. Now, if you look at the Dahomey Amazons, they were only warriors because the Dahomey had sustained so many casualties fighting all these wars with neighboring tribes.